Welcome to JenntheFierce and welcome to the first episode of Conversations While Gaming. We'll be interviewing some nerdy folks about their industry while playing a video game of their choice. The first-person independent film actress, Twitch streamer, and a vital member of my adventuring party, Pesto Mystic, who I fondly refer to as Pizza, and you'll learn why in this episode. So I hope you enjoy it, and I'll catch you in the next one. So I figure we'll just go land somewhere like out in the middle of nowhere and just chill. So I was doing some research. I won't dox you, but I put your real name into YouTube. Let's pick a place where no one wants to go.
Yeah, let's concentrate on the game and
I found Pizza rapping. Is it karaoke? Is that what that was?
It was karaoke to the turtle rap.
It was so good. So excited.
Oh no, that's still out there.
It is still out there. It was like, there was some ones that were going back like 12 years and I was like, I am so excited right now. I have found a gold mine of Pizza.
Oh gosh.
So it's going to start saying Pizza's real name is Pesto Mystic, in case you didn't know. There's a TikTok out there explaining why I call Pizza Pizza. We first were playing Among Us when I first met you. And I kept reading your name, Mystic Pizza, instead of Pesto Mystic. And then I was like, I love pizza, so I'm just going to keep calling you Pizza. So my first question is, how do you feel about being called a pizza food? How does that make you feel?
I absolutely adore it. Honestly, it's the first nickname that I've been given instead of forcing people to call me.
Have you tried? Okay, so are there other nicknames that you've tried to make other people call you?
Yeah, this one's embarrassing. It's a middle school one. Daring D.
Oh, I like that. That's not really a nickname, though. That's a long name.
But it's
like it's like a code name. I will go with code name.
Yeah, I like to draw comics as a kid, so I tried to make an entire comic based around that. It was
You
awful.
made a What? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited right now. You really did?
Was so bad.
Did you draw it yourself?
Yeah, that's why it was awful.
You should have gotten your sister in on it. Oh my gosh. She could have drawn it.
Oh, she was busy doing her own things. We actually were enemies for quite a while.
Is she older than you or younger than you?
Older.
Okay. And you were enemies because
mutually
or
like related?
Right. But like, was it mutual? Like, did you not want to know her or did she not want to know you or both?
Yeah, it was pretty mutual. The hatred was just very mutual. Yeah, both sides. It was lovely, you know?
That's good.
Good times.
I used to steal from my sister when I was a kid. I would memorize where everything was, and I go in and use her perfumes and her makeups and put it exactly where it was, but she still knew. She always knew. And so she put a lock on her door. Like, I would steal her clothes too and wear them and wash them and put them back where they were. But she knew, and she locked her door. So I would like take coat hangers and then stick them through and steal them out of her dirty laundry and then wash them and then wear them. She hated me.
That is so smart.
She hated me so much. That was the only time I've been stealth ever. We'll have to tell Cosmo about that. That was the only stealth. So Daring D was. Tell me about Daring D. Was it was it kind of like your own persona as a comic?
Probably. It was like an anti-hero sort of personality that didn't really know what they were doing or why, and because of that, like every time she tried to save somebody, just more chaos ensued. Nice. And she ended up killing more people than saving. So. And then my best friend, Wookie Sounds, was in it as my... She wasn't really the sidekick. She we were equal heroes in it, I think, but she was definitely the grounded, logical person in the comic book.
Yeah, how long have you known
tried
her?
to get me on trial for murder. I've known her since kindergarten.
Oh,
so
nice. Awesome.
Probably like 30 years or something.
We're not going to talk about. We don't have to do the math though. I just mean like childhood. Okay, that's good.
Like 100 years. That's how long.
2,000 years. Well, what inspired Daring D? Like, what did you read for comic books that gave you inspiration?
Honestly, oh gosh, I just remembered. This is amazing. Your questions are bringing up so many memories. I appreciate this a lot. Okay. Garfield.
I was gonna say, was it like something in the newspaper? Because it was really early. What would you have possibly read for comic books that young? Gonna be like, Garfield. I feel like that's awesome.
Yep, Garfield.
Nice. That's so
and
good.
boredom in class. So whenever I got bored, that's exactly what I would do. Is just Google, doodle.
What did Daring D look like?
Ooh, Daring D had a cape, and it wasn't really anything. It was just jeans and like a black tank top.
Jeans and a black tank top. Nice. What, does that be like the colors, like blue and black?
No color palette really, because it was all in black and white. But yeah, just a black tank top and blue jeans, and just because that was the cheapest costume.
Cool.
And Wookiee sounds. I called her Nameless A. And yeah, she had a better costume than me. Like she actually had a tank top with an A on it, and then her entire outfit would be from Hot Topic.
She got like there's a budget for her costume.
Yeah,
you saved all the budget for hers.
She knew how to shop smart, so she would save up all her Hot Topic bucks and then get her costume.
I tell other people this, but I don't think I've ever told you that. I'd tell you my first impression of you. The first time we ever met was when we played Among Us, but the first impression I had of you, like when I was telling my sister about you, is that we were going to play D&D together, all of us, and you and I would be the only girls, and I was really worried. I've never been gotten along with other girls very well, and I always was like worried it would be competitive of like who would be like the prettier princess. And then you showed up and you were like, I'm a giant fish. I was like, I love this girl so freaking much. I just loved it. We were both just goobers together, and you're one of the coolest people I met. That's my favorite thing was you were just like, I'm a giant fish. This is a friend for me. I adore pizza.
I appreciate that. That's so sweet. Thank you.
You were like hitting people with a ham, and I was like, this is amazing. This is what I need in friendship.
I love that you're always taking the leader role. Like, there needs to be somebody everybody can look to, and that, like, immediately when we started playing, like, you were always that person. Even if, like, that's not the dynamic naturally, that you're always going to be the character that I look to as, like, what should I do now? What needs to happen now?
So my next question was, was 6-year-old Pizza like? But I feel like you already give us some perspective on that. Little Pizza was making comic books. What else was 6-year-old young Pizza like?
Oh,
paint me a picture.
I don't know. Yeah, I was a little arrogant and very all over the place. Still the same with that. Wanted to try everything and do everything just so wasn't bored. Like composing, like that's where all the instruments came from. Piano, cello, trombone, the recorder I was really into. Like after you do that, I don't know if you guys had this at your school. Yeah. Okay. Did your school do that too, where you were forced to learn the recorder for like one concert?
No, I didn't. But I do remember when we started Ryan's curriculum, because I'm homeschooling them. It was like, here's a record. They sent us a recorder, and I was like, this is the required. Everyone's got to learn a recorder. And I was like, great. Thanks.
I wonder why that is. Do they explain why?
No, they were just like, this is an easy instrument. Here you go. Here's the recorder. What do you think Little Pizza would think about who you like? What your life right now? What do you think Little Pizza would think of you right now?
I don't know. That's a good question. It's weird. Like I think Little Pizza would be sort of surprised and kind of disappointed, but at the same time, like I've grown out of that because like my success back then was a completely different definition. Yeah, exactly. Like my success back then was like, oh, you're gonna be rich and all this other stuff, but my definition of success has completely changed. Yeah. Like I love where I'm at. I love who I am. I love the friends I'm surrounded by. Little Pizza would be like, where's your
definition of success now, then?
As long as I'm happy doing what I'm doing.
What did you want to be when you were a kid? Like, what was the first thing you wanted to be?
An actor.
What was it that made you first want to be an actor?
I'm not really sure if there was one particular moment that made me go, yes, this is what I want to do. I just want to entertain people. Oh my gosh, we got a turret.
A business turret? Business.
Yeah.
Business turret in the back.
I think it's because I just liked attention way too much.
Attention is nice.
Yeah.
What was the first acting you ever did?
I think it was a parody opening for a local TV show. No, the local pledge, where like we were doing a parody of Poltergeist. And I got to do the whole like they're back.
Nice. And how did you feel? Was that attention satisfying? Did it give you?
Oh gosh, it was lovely.
Nice.
I didn't even see it air. I just enjoyed doing it. I enjoyed pretending.
Yeah.
What about you? What got you into streaming?
I'm interviewing you. I don't know what you're talking about.
No. It's a two-way interrogation.
Oh, no. What got me into streaming? I heard someone say, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was something like, whoever you're the most jealous of is because they're doing something that you wish you were doing. It's a clear indicator of like what you should be pursuing.
Oh.
I can't. It was said better than that. Like it's like, you know what? The people that I'm the most jealous of. There was a lot of female gamers, and they had female gamer friends that they played with and made YouTube videos with, and I was like, oh, I was so jealous of their friendships. And that's what I was the most jealous of, because my kiddo was really into watching like Minecraft videos and watched a lot of Minecrafters, and they were all friends, and that's what I was like genuinely jealous of. Not like their success or anything like that, but just that they had a group of friends and they looked like they're having such a fun and hilarious time. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to find people who are more like me, because especially being just like a new mom and stuff, I'm just never been like the other moms because they complain about their kids playing video games. And I was like, I want to be playing video games. You know?
I love that so much.
And I also felt like I'm too old. I'm a mom now. Like I had thought about it when I was like 18, 17, 18, 19. But my impression of it back then was like that they were mostly... Okay, this isn't the truth at all, but this is just what was in my head. If I'm going to be a female streamer, I have to lean into objectification, and I don't want to be. And I didn't see anybody. There wasn't a lot of representation. And so I was like, I don't want to do it in that way, so I'm not going to do it. There were some girls playing like snipers, and they would be like, they were really pretty, and they got a lot of flirts, and they were okay with that. And if you're okay with that, that's awesome. But I was like, I don't want to be that to happen. I don't want to be flirted with, and I'm not the best as a female gamer. A lot of times too, you gotta overcompensate and be like the best sniper ever. Can't just be mediocre. And I was like, I'm very mediocre. So I felt like, I already missed that train. When Ryan was little and we watched YouTubers, and I saw so many female gamers just being themselves, gaming in a hoodie and not having to be objectified. I was like, what? You could do that? And I was like, but I'm old, so I shouldn't do that. And so I was jealous of them. But I was like, just screw it. I'm just going to do it. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's totally fun.
I love that.
There's grannies doing it. It's totally fun.
Oh my gosh, I love the granny playing.
There's
my
favorite. They're pretty good. They're pretty good.
Okay, I love that you brought up sort of different types of jealousy, because I went like, jealousy phase as well, with like fellow actors that were way more successful than I am, or was able to easily get roles every single day. They were like, hey, look, I booked another one. It's like, but there's a way to combat that. There's a way to like examine yourself, in those moments, to be like, oh, well, I'm jealous because of this reason. Your jealousy was coming from like a completely different place, and like what I went through so I wonder like how many different types of jealousy there are in a way, or if those feelings are labeled as something else.
It definitely revealed something that I wasn't allowing myself to pursue. But I definitely do feel other times I'll feel jealous of like influencers who get free stuff, or I'll get really, really jealous of them. Let's just be honest. I get really jealous of the male gamers who get to do mediocre content and get so many views. And it's not, I don't know if I guess I would be jealous, even just annoyance. I get so annoyed because I'm like, how come they have 5 million people following them and they're such a bad person? And but then I have to remind myself of like, the jealousy is rooted in a value that it's not my values to have a bunch of people who follow me that I wouldn't want to know in real life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have an initial like jealousy, but then I follow it through of like, okay, well, if I wanted 5 million followers, I would have to do such and such. I would have to be such and such. And I wouldn't be able to stand up for things. I could never. I can't keep my mouth closed about nothing. So I would lose sponsorships and things. It's an initial jealousy of like the superficial things that they have. And then I follow it through of like, what kind of life would I have to live to have that? And I'm not willing to do those things. And then there's the jealousy of like, they are being brave in a way in which I'm not. And that's bringing attention to it. And so I want to be challenged and try and be braver too,
Yeah.
Like the streaming thing.
I love that. I love it so much.
How did you get into streaming?
Boredom. I don't necessarily remember too much. I think it started off when I was mostly just freelancing, because I got into this weird period of like, okay, during freelancing, if I'm not working or working on myself or finding the next job, then I'm being lazy. So like I wasn't playing video games or taking any time for myself. So the only way that like I was able to kind of scoot into playing video games on the regular was by streaming, because I felt like I was doing something at the same time as relaxing.
Oh, you're like monetizing your relaxation.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. Oh. And then it just
is that still something you struggle with? Like, or are you able to relax now, or do you still feel like you need to monetize your relaxation?
I've gotten better at it, I think. Yeah, a little. No, I think I can actually relax. Maybe that's why I haven't actually streamed in a while. Now I just play video games. I just get online and play with you. It's just fun.
Fun. Yeah. Is there a fictional character that you relate to the most?
Immediately I wanted to say Batman, but I don't know why.
Just because.
I don't have a reason. That was just the first name that came into mind.
Because he talks really cool.
He talks like this, and that's how I always talk. Yeah.
I remember I was going to ask you when you were talking about the acting. What would you do if you were guaranteed success?
If I was guaranteed success, it would be nice to actually choose the roles I would want to do, or have access to be able to pitch films that I would like to make to executives, you know, like become a producer and tell stories, like, you know, like go back to original stories instead of existing IPs, stuff like that.
And like produce them and be behind the stage, or like Margot Robbie and be producing it and also in it?
You know, I would love to do produce and be in it, but I don't think I'd be good enough for that.
You'd rather just focus on producing, or are you questioning your own acting chops? Because I think you got good acting chops. I've seen your videos on the YouTubes.
The rapping wasn't acting, that was just me.
Not the rapping. I've seen the other things. Oh yeah, that's what the question was going to ask you. It seems like there was a lot of the horrors. Do you like the genre of horror, or is it just that opportunities were there?
Nope. It's just the opportunities were there.
Oh, okay. It's not like you're...
Horror is not my thing. Like, I love horror when it's used very well.
Yeah.
Like horror is so embedded in the story type of thing. But like a lot of the horror movies that I've been in, it was like, oh, we're going to be labeled as horror for the sake of being horror. There's this trend for independent films where they follow the money, basically. So when I started in independent films around here, horror was where you were going to get the money, which is weird because you think like with all the special effects and stuff like that, it would cost more, which it does. Yeah. But because there's an audience there, there seemed to have been more of a guarantee for return. Mm-hmm. And then now where the money is religious films.
Weird.
So all of a sudden, all of a sudden, all these directors.
I don't even want to. America's weird. From gory horror to religion, that's interesting.
Yep.
It's an interesting line you can follow. Yeah.
The same dude director that was like, all right, anybody who's going to be in this movie has to at least have one topless scene, went from that to like, all right, well, everybody is a nun, and you know that's the struggle. All right, let's talk about religion in this one. You know, it's very weird.
Weird segue. Have you ever seen the movie Velocipaster?
We tried to watch it. So I want to get through it.
You wanted to get through it? It's so bad. I loved it. It was genuinely enjoyable to me. I love a really horrible good movie, like good bad movie, like a good bad joke.
You got to be in the right mood for something like that, for good bad jokes, I think. And maybe when we threw it on, it just wasn't quite the right time.
It was like it was the dead of winter, and we were like, we're bored. Let's watch something hilarious, and we did, and it was good times. What was the first video game you ever played?
Doom.
Really? How old were you when you first played Doom? That's my next question.
I have no idea. That was definitely the first game. And that's why it's so close to my heart. I don't know how old I was, but I know that it was on floppy disk.
Okay.
It was on like an old IBM computer, I think.
That's true. And also it probably was like GoldenEye, where like the graphics were not the greatest, probably. The original Doom.
The graphics were amazing.
Okay.
That's what made it so amazing.
Were they good?
I think for their time, for sure. The sound design is iconic and still iconic. You still hear like the door opening sounds in modern sci-fi films. Like really? It's crazy to me. I remember like my father would tell me that a coworker of his decided to try it out on a work computer one night and got scared because they were just in the building alone playing Doom, and the sounds alone, especially like hearing one of the Reapers like breathing from a distance, it just scared, you know, this 40-year-old dude.
Have they remastered original Doom?
I don't know. There's 2016 Doom, like they redid the game. It's Doom 2016 and then Doom Eternal, I think, was the sequel to Doom 2016. And it was very, very well done. Yeah, I played it that year. Okay, so
nice. 6 or 7? Yeah, 6-year-old Pizza was playing Doom. That explains a lot about Pizza.
What was the first game you ever played?
First game I ever played was Sonic. I really liked it.
Oh.
My uncle had taught me like the cheat code so that you could get to the page and you can choose whatever level you want to get to. You want to play.
Yeah.
I would play up to the water level, and then I hated it. I was so scared of drowning all the time. And that's my biggest fear, is to drown.
I was about to say, do you think that's where some of your anxieties might come from?
Probably.
Like everybody's anxieties come from because of that level?
Yeah, probably. The air bubble, if there was a bubble stiff there, I was going to stop and get it. Even if I didn't need to get air yet. I was like, I'm going to stop. and prepare ahead of time. Because that sound, if I hear that sound of like the panic, total panic attack. It's so stressful when you're starting to drown. Oh my gosh. So
that is where everybody's anxiety comes from. Yeah.
I like the Starlight level. That one was so pretty. With like chill music, and there was like the bombs. Like even though they were bombs, they had like a trail of stars, so they were happy bombs. You know.
Oh.
If you could change one thing about your industry, what would it be?
That's a deep question. 15 things I want to change.
Is there one thing that you like, an overarching thing about all of them?
One thing I would change would probably be, oh man, maybe the profit margins. Like that the entertainment shouldn't be based on how much money you could potentially make. Because I think that's really like poisoned the well in a way. Yeah. It's okay to still like make profit off of stuff for sure. But like, I wish that wasn't the driving force.
Who do you look up to in your industry? Is there anyone who like greatly influenced you? Well, you could say currently. Who's currently influencing you?
It's going to be a name that everybody's heard so often. Probably Tay-Tay. Not gonna lie.
Yes. I was so happy you said that. Okay, tell me all about why Tay-Tay has inspired you. I would love to hear all about it.
So much good. Oh my goodness. It's her or her PR or both. The things that she has done. I love what she did during the SAG strike too, when she released her film, and she reached out to SAG on her own volition to ask, hey, is this okay? I've released this. I don't want to mess up what you guys are fighting for. That's such a considerate move, man. So smart and considerate. I'm very, very glad that someone like her existed in a time where my niece is growing up, and like she can, you know, look up to that type of female empowerment. Taylor Swift is the man.
She is the man. I love Tay-Tay. I really love about the Eras tour how she's embracing all of the stages she was in. She's performing the songs that she sang as like a 15-year-old girl about boys, not being like, that's so cringe. Like she's embracing all the different versions of herself that she was, because they were who she was at that time. She said when she was first interviewed like a long time ago was that she's gonna be a 16-year-old while she's a 16-year-old. She's not gonna try and dress like a grown-up, and she's gonna fall in love and do things 16-year-olds do. And now that she's 30, she's not gonna try and be a 12-year-old little girl. She's trying to be a 30-year-old grown woman, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's helped a lot of people that like have those moments in their past. You know, when you like lay around, embarrassed stuff just kind of pops into your head. You know, the fact that she embraced like those moments on stage and stuff like that, I think kind of helps other people with those moments, going like, well, whatever, they happened. I can move on. I have moved on. I have grown. This is who I am now.
Yeah. I've watched a lot of like YouTubers go back and look at their old videos, and they're like, a lot of these are hidden now because they're so cringe and they're so bad at my first editing, you know? So imagine like going back to your first things you ever edited and then having them put them on the stage and being like, let's all celebrate my really bad first videos I ever made. You know?
Yeah.
It's so brave of her to put it all out there.
Yeah.
I love me some Tay-Tay. Are there any people you look up to or endeavor to emulate in general, like in your life?
It's mostly the people that I'm surrounded by. And, you know, there's been like artists that have come into my life too that, you know, and my sister, the fact that she's been out there just putting her stuff out there and starting to do art galleries just because like that's, you know, she's like, she doesn't second guess it anymore. She doesn't, you know, look at herself in like a negative, like, oh, I'm not good enough for this. Like, you know what, F it. I made this stuff and I want to show it off. This is what I'm going to do because this is what I want to do. Little things like that influence me a lot.
What was the last piece of media that really affected you that you've seen? Okay, music, movie, TV, whatever.
Oh, girl, the Marvels.
Yes. Okay, tell me all about it.
It was just a fun movie. And it was exactly what it told you it was going to be. And that's exactly what I needed.
No false advertising.
Oh, wow, we placed 9th. Good job.
Not bad, not bad.
The Marvels, oh my gosh. It was so good. I love that they showed Captain Marvel. How like they put her out there as such a flawed character and they kept hammering in that flaw.
Yeah.
The entire movie, and I loved it. Like she apologized for it, but didn't learn from it. I'm sure she's slowly growing, but I like how it wasn't like an immediate growth. Like she was like, still very much flawed by the end.
Yeah, she was trying really hard to like make everything better on her own.
The very ending wouldn't happen if it wasn't for the fact that she wasn't listening. Like everybody laid out the plan and she, all right, let's do it, and then she was surprised by the plan that they did.
I like how when Miss Marvel had to be a grown-up and like make her stop even though she didn't want to, she didn't get mad at her. Like I feel like if it was Stark with Spider-Man, he would have been like, I know better because I'm a billionaire and I'm older than you. But she was very humble and she was like, you were right, I'm sorry, I was chasing revenge. Like you said, she's flawed and she's still trying to like fix things. but she also can be humble and like acknowledge when she what's doing that. She's like, I can't stop myself from doing it, but at least I know I'm doing it, but I can't stop myself from doing it.
Yeah, it introduced such new depths to her character. I feel like that wasn't quite there before. And then, of course, my favorite character is Mala and her family. Oh my gosh.
So freaking cute. I love her. She's so funny.
Great.
She's so adorable. I love all of her comedy. She's just so funny. Oh my goodness.
Everything about her. Like, she had, I thought, the hardest part of that movie being both the comic relief and like the grounded part of the story. You know, like she had like real world attachments that were in danger. She acted her heart out and she was so good.
Yeah, I feel like she had to be more of a grown up than Captain Marvel, because Captain Marvel was like chasing herself, and so Miss Marvel had to be comic relief and also the grown up.
And nothing will ever get better than that one scene.
It was so good. I just died. It was so funny. Everyone was like, it's fine, don't resist. If I was there too, even though I know I need to do it, I couldn't help but resist. Everybody's gonna run. There's no reason they would not. They would definitely run. It was so funny. Oh, it was so
perfect.
Good.
And it just got better. It kept getting better.
So good. Have you done like stage theater at all, Pizza?
Yeah, when I was growing up, yeah.
How'd you feel about it? It doesn't sound like you were in love.
I don't think I was good at it, but also there's a little bit of like a repetitiveness to it because you're doing the same show for like 5 days. You know, you get into this weird space of going into auto drive, and that sort of bothered me. So
yeah, it's understandable.
Play I was in, it was High School Musical.
What? It was High School Musical?
I was in High School Musical, the play.
Is it based
It was
on the
locally
movie?
produced.
I'm so confused.
Yeah.
What?
It was based on the movie.
When were you born?
I was singing.
I was in college when that movie came
I'll
out.
never tell.
I'm so confused.
Actually, High School Musical is still a weird guilty pleasure to this day.
Is that why you went out for it? Because you liked it?
Yeah, I was like, well, I sing some of these songs anyway. F it. I'll see how it goes. There's something weirdly good about it. Like, it knows what it is. It knows what it needs to be. And it's directed really well, I think.
I haven't seen the movies or anything. I need to watch it. What was the hardest part in acting about being a female presenting person?
Not thinking hard about it. Looking back at my IMDb, I'm really ashamed of the roles I took.
Why?
But I don't know. I think it was just, you know, again, like around the freelancing time where I'm like, I'm going to take what I can. I need a paycheck. I need to pay rent. And then looking back, I'm like, it was obvious what the director intention was. They would be going after a very intentional type of audience. And I was a part of that. Yeah, that's the hardest part, was like sort of accepting that, yeah, I took those roles and that happened. I played that type of...
No one invited you here, sir. No one invited you. Get out of here. This is private. We're having a conversation. Get out of here. I'm down. Good job, Pizza. You got
for long. But having had done my part in those parts and like knowing that like, oh man, I could have said no. I mean, luckily, like nothing truly embarrassing, but it's, yeah, that's the hardest part, was like accepting that. And hello, what are you?
Well, I'm proud of you, no matter what movie you've ever been in ever.
Oh, shucks, thank you.
Because you're skilled.
I know this is very contradictory what I just said, but like I'm also very happy to have had those experiences. You know, like I learned from them. Like looking back, I'm like, okay, well, I would definitely make different decisions now, but I only know that now because of what decisions I had made. Yeah,
I regret like very little in my life because I did exactly what I would have done with what information I had at the time. You know,
yeah,
I wouldn't know what I know now.
And like I said, like on those sets, like it wasn't a thing of being uncomfortable. It was like just looking back, I'm like, oof, that was a character. But yeah, they were always fun sets. Like there were a lot of great people that I met because of those sets.
So you're saying that if you could do anything with a guarantee of success, you would want to make stories that you want to tell. What kind of stories would you want to tell? What do you think is lacking in the stories that are being told right now?
Ooh.
What do you want to add to the conversation?
I think I want to add more comedy that's derived from reaction instead of just making a comedy where everybody's sort of improvising. Kind of like Ghostbusters, like that was a comedy film that had comedy in it that was built around the situations that they were in. And I think that kind of made it timeless. You know, I miss comedies like that. Like a lot of things right now, it seems like are very short on time. So they're like, oh, we'll just improvise this. And you could totally tell in the edit, you could totally tell in the post-production, you could tell when you're watching it. So I kind of want to bring back like well-planned stories that have comedic reactions to it. Or an adaptation of Doom. I don't know.
Both, those two things. First one and then the other. I asked chat if they had any questions, and I was asked to ask you about your cheating in Mario Kart. Tell me about that. Give me your thoughts on cheating in Mario Kart.
I don't cheat. I'm just that good. Nobody can cheat in Mario Kart.
Just saying, going from 15th to first lap in 3 is sus. Ooh. Accusations being thrown.
Okay, here's the thing. The game gives you items, right? And you use those items strategically. So just because you start off 15th and then use a blue shell that knocks out like the first three players.
Here's the thing. You don't want to be in the top 3 because then you're a target. So that's the thing, too, is you want to be like, it's all strategy. Because if you're not in the top, you won't be a target. So you kind of want to like lull back and then pull ahead toward the end. Yep. Because that's you're asking for it.
Oh, so much truth.
You just kind of asking for it.
Take that, Gumby.
I'm always going to be on Team Pizza. I'm going to help her get chickens. She wants to cheat. I mean, she wants to be really strategic. Can we play that sometime, though? Let's do a Friday night fun and play it. I'll have to practice. Okay, I have another question.
Uh-huh.
What was your first impression of me when we played?
That you have such a kind heart. Until I watched your playback, and then I was like, "Oh, you're strategic too."
There's a TikTok if you call me a bad word. What's your favorite Taylor Swift era?
It morphs. Midnight. I think Midnights will always have a place in my heart because that's where I got converted.
Yeah, checks out.
But I'm in the Reputation era right now, actually.
It's a good place to be right now, because any day now. Any day now, it'll be Rep Taylor's version. Did you ever want to change your name? Did you like what your name was?
My real name?
Yes. You don't have to say what it is, but did you ever want to change your real name?
Oh, actually, yeah, no. I liked it.
I always wanted to change.
What?
It's like every white girl is Jennifer. In the fall, when I go to Starbucks, I'm like the 16th Jennifer getting a pumpkin spice latte in line. And we all have our golden doodles with us in our cars. It's so embarrassing. I always wished I had a boy name because I had loved Dawson's Creek and Joey. I always thought it was adorable when girls had boys' names.
Yeah.
So freaking cute.
They're like some of the best written characters too. Like Joe from
yes, like Joe Marsh. Yeah. They're so complex, you know? Much more complex than the Jennifers.
Right. Oh,
or the Kimberlys and the Jessicas.
I didn't mean to say right so like fast to that, goodness.
So it's Jen with 2 N's. I'm special. I'm not like the other Jens. I'm different.
I think the only other thing that I would probably change about the industry is doing blind casting. So instead of being so specific about like, oh, this person's going to be this like this character is going to be this gender, this character is going to be this yeah, like I think if there were more, or like if there was less descriptions and they actually had more open calls.
Yeah,
I think I would like that.
More interesting. Like I really like when there's gender swaps. One of my favorite characters of all time was Starbuck in Battlestar Galactica, the 2000s one, when they did the gender swap. I love Katie Sackhoff as Starbuck. She's like badass, but also still like girly and vulnerable sometimes.
There probably would have to be sort of different tiers in the casting zone because open casting call takes many hours, and you're going through like 10,000 people. But I would like the pool to be bigger, and like for at least like directors or people that are hiring the actors to have more open mind, because every single time there has been sort of a gender swap because a director preferred that actor. It didn't change anything in the movie or the tone of the movie, but they've also like the best written characters. Yeah,
and they came out wicked good.
That type of casting, I think, would just open up.
Because it was just about the representation across the board. It didn't matter like who played them. She was still a badass. Yeah,
I really enjoyed doing this with you, and I appreciate it because like holding a conversation with you, so easy.
Well, I was going and watching all your YouTubes, and I'm like, she's been interviewed by a million people a million times. And I was like, oh no, I'm so unprofessional.
No.
I was like, oh no, I gotta get out of my head because I was thinking like, so
like gonna be very memorable for me.
Oh wait, I have one more question. This is the very most important question. So remember back when I asked, tell me about 6-year-old pizza. Do you have a picture of you when you were 6, and can I see it someday?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. Phew. Very important. I wouldn't want to forget that one.